Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're diving into something that lots of people experience but maybe don't talk about much, living solo.
Right.
We're using an article called The Unexpected Perks of a Solo Life as our springboard. And it really gets you thinking, why do we often see living alone as, well, as a negative?
Yeah, that's the interesting starting point, isn't it? The article points out how our culture is obsessed with constant connection. And it makes you question that assumption. Why is living solo seen as a problem? Maybe, as the source suggests, it's not a failure at all.
It could be a choice, a deliberate one.
Exactly. Or even if it wasn't initially a choice, it could become this really empowering path. That's what we're exploring today, those surprising upsides.
Okay, let's jump into one of the first perks the article mentions, freedom. Just pure, simple freedom.
Yeah.
Setting your own timetable, eating what you want when you want, diving into hobbies without, checking in. It sounds basic.
It goes deeper, doesn't it?
That's what I'm wondering. What are the maybe less obvious benefits of that kind of autonomy?
Well, the article connects this freedom to things like creativity, focus, even peace.
Right.
And it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
If you're not constantly juggling someone else's needs or schedule.
You have more mental space.
Precisely. You tailor your environment completely to yourself. Think about focus having control over your space, your quiet time. It could really cut down on mental clutter.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Less background noise, literally and figuratively.
And that freed up energy can go into, well, deeper work or just being more present.
Now, the article uses some pretty striking words about self-discovery. It calls solitude a gift.
Yeah, leading to radical self-honesty. That's a strong phrase.
It really is. It sounds intense.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit daunting.
It can be, I think. But the idea is that without the constant performance or filtering we do around others.
You're just left with yourself.
Exactly. You start noticing your own patterns. What really makes you tick, what drains you, things you might normally push aside when you're busy interacting.
So it's like holding up a mirror.
Kind of, yeah. An unfiltered one. And that self-knowledge, that radical self-honesty can become this amazing guide for big life decisions, work, relationships, health.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Financial independence. The article lists this as a perk, which might surprise some people. Managing money alone. How is that framed as an advantage?
Well, it's about control, isn't it?
Yeah.
The article talks about the empowerment of not needing constant compromise.
Right. No arguing over joint accounts or unexpected shared costs.
Exactly. You decide your priorities. You align your spending with your values, your goals.
So it simplifies things. Reduces stress, maybe?
I think that's a big part of it. Financial friction is a real thing in shared living. Taking that away gives you a real sense of agency and security. You can plan long-term without negotiating every step.
Okay, that makes sense. Another point was freedom from social noise. I think a lot of us feel that pressure to be constantly on, constantly connected. Why is stepping back from that sometimes a good thing, according to the article?
It's about quality, not just quantity. The source suggests constant socializing can actually be draining.
Totally. Sometimes you just need downtime.
Right. And by choosing when and how you engage, you make those interactions more meaningful. You're not just going through the motions.
So you become more selective.
Yeah, more intentional. You invest your energy where it feels right, which can lead to, deeper connections. Plus, you free up time for your own interests.
Which ties into the next idea, building inner strength.
Resilience.
The article says navigating challenges on your own builds this inner resilience. It's not about being isolated forever.
No, not at all. It's about competence.
Competence? How so?
Well, when you have to figure things out yourself, fix the leaky tap, handle a difficult situation, manage your own emotions without immediate backup, you learn you can.
You build self-reliance.
Exactly. That strength becomes part of you. It's not just when you're alone. It affects how you approach everything, even relationships or community stuff. You know your own capabilities better.
That's interesting. And maybe counterintuitively, the article suggests living solo can actually lead to better relationships.
Yeah, that one often makes people pause.
How does that work? Being alone helps you connect better.
The idea is clarity. When you're comfortable on your own, you understand what you truly need and want from relationships.
You're not just filling a void.
Precisely. You're less likely to settle out of fear of being alone. You become more discerning.
So you choose connections more authentically.
That's the theory. You seek out people who genuinely add value to your life, leading to relationships built on real connection, not just convenience or habit.
Okay, so wrapping things up, The article really pushes back against the common narrative.
Definitely.
It ends by saying solo doesn't mean lacking and that there are deep advantages. That's a powerful reframing.
It absolutely is. I think the core message, really, is that living alone shouldn't be seen as this negative state, this deficit.
It's just different with its own set of benefits.
Exactly. It's a valid, potentially really enriching path, offering freedom, self-knowledge, independence, and maybe even better relationships in the long run. It challenges us to rethink what a good or full life looks like.
So here's something to chew on as you go about your day. We live in this hyper-connected world, right? Always online, always available. Could that constant push for connection actually be getting in the way of some of this deeper stuff, this self-discovery, this inner strength that the article connects to solitude?
That's a really interesting question.
What might you personally gain if you intentionally carved out a bit more quiet solo time, no matter what your living situation is right now? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.